Here today, which I want to introduce you to you, brothers and sisters. You are now towards the end of Ramadan, and it has come and it has gone. It is that fast. So we are blessed that we've just passed the 27th night yesterday, and we have still a lot of good work to do, a lot of prayers to do, and we got to look out for each other. And right now, what do you think we should do? My brother is here from the prison service today, would you believe? Muhammed, I can't say your second name, you're going to have to help me. Muhammed Surve.
I guess I'll just introduce myself. Assalamu alaikum, everyone who's listening.
Yeah.
My name's Muhammed Surve, and I'm a prison officer at HMP Leicester.
And we also have your colleague with you today, Kate Malloney.
Yes, hi. I'm HR Performance Manager at HMP Leicester.
MashaAllah. That is good to have you both, because it's a different topic altogether today, isn't it? Towards the end of Ramadan, the prison service. And
have you had anyone from the prison before?
No, I certainly have not had anyone from the prison, and I have to sort of then do a lot of preparation work, do my homework, get my facts all in order, and they kind of put me in the deep end,
So this is what they call an exclusive, right, in the showbiz business?
It is, yeah.
So brothers,
it is an exclusive one for me. It's the first one for me, and we have been discussing some ideas about the prison service. And in the past, we had some donations, which was for the women's prison, and these are like cash donations, but we can't do much with them, can we, Kate?
No, unfortunately, we're sort of very limited with what we can sort of accept. But obviously, that's why one of the reasons we're here today is sort of to discuss and strengthen those community links and see what kind of things we can work with the community on.
Of course, prison is an affliction that can come to members of the community, and when we are all in the community, we're on the outside and the prisoners are on the inside. We have to do what we can to support them the best we can. Now, you have different faiths, different people in prison. They're all coming from all walks of life. For whatever reason that they are there for is not what we are here to discuss today. Today we want to just delve on the prison service. That can somebody make a career in there? Are there people out there in the community who would like to become a prison officer? Or maybe, Muhammad, you can also talk to us about being a prison officer.
Yeah, I'd love
it's
to
a Leicester prison, is it?
Yeah, so I work at if you're from Leicester, you'll know it as the Castle. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Castle on Welford Road?
Yes.
Right opposite the hospital. So I was born in Leicester, and growing up I thought it was a castle. Now I know obviously it's a prison. So yeah, I worked there, been working there for 9 years now, alhamdulillah, nearly 9 years. It's a great career, and you touched on about how can the local community support prisoners. The best way to support prisoners is by joining the job, not just as a prison officer. There's loads of different roles you can do, and through the job you can support people from, like you said, people from all walks of life have unfortunately been afflicted by, with prison. So that's the best way that you can help people, in my opinion.
In the prison service. Now, that particular prison you mentioned on Welford Road, there are numerous, it's been there a long time. I know this prison from when I was schooling here. Like I'm telling you, maybe 80 years old, that prison.
Think more like about 200, I think. Isn't that right, Kate?
Yeah, I think it's 1800s.
Yeah, about 200 years old. Definitely older than you, Brother Zed.
Is it cobblestone there?
No, it's not.
I think that's all been covered over now.
Yeah, it's not
tarmac.
cobblestone.
So one day those cobblestones are going to be very famous, aren't they?
Yes.
They're from the Roman Empire days, those are, aren't they? Like that. So the closest I ever came to that prison was cobblestone on the drive to the gates.
I was getting worried seeing what you were going to say there for a minute when you said the closest I've been to the prison.
Well, everyone walks down that way on Welford Road when you come before the Nelson Mandela Park, and there's two big gates, and the cobblestones, I remember them well there. So the road was quite active with a cattle market and the Granby Halls across the road.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of history, isn't there, in the city of Leicester, that people will want to reflect upon. Of course, if you've got a question for my wonderful guest today, you can call in on 0116 4822 or you can even text a message on 077 488 55055. So if you can also ring in, or you can send a text in and ask a question, be free to do so. So Muhammad, let's now talk about age. How old does a person have to be if they want to a career in the prison service?
I'm going to refer to my colleague here as well at the same time because she deals with the recruitment, but I think it's 18, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, it's 18.
18. And at 18, which area would they start their career in?
It depends, obviously, whatever they were interested in, with the sort of variation of roles within the prison service, whether it's on an operational front, whether you want to be a uniform member of staff, but we also employ, obviously, a lot of administration staff. We have external sort of stakeholders that work within the prison, so providing education, and different areas, sort of reducing reoffending, the sort of rehabilitation side. A lot of those are external stakeholders. So there's lots of careers that you can have within a prison establishment that aren't directly employed, that can be both sort of operational and non-operational.
Now, I've already had one message straight out, direct to the point. What's the pay like?
Right. Good question.
Yeah,
actually.
good question. Well, we came prepared.
This person was not messing about, was he? Come straight to the point.
So depending on what you wanted to do, so prison officer, Mo, have you got the prison officer paperwork?
Yeah, I've got it here, yeah.
So I think the basic.
So
sort
at
of starting
18, somebody would be like an apprentice, wouldn't they?
Well, there is an apprenticeship offered alongside the actual role itself. Excuse me while I just find through here. So 37 hours a week. The starting salary for that is £28,880.
28,000.
And that's obviously reflects the role being, some of it being unsociable, so having to work every other weekend, having to work
So how old
nights.
would a person be when they start?
So you could apply to be a prison officer at 18, obviously come through the application process and the assessment process and be successful, and come to the establishment and start your training.
So what capacity would they be in at that age, at 18 years of age,
So-
if they choose to enter the prison service?
So if they applied as a prison officer, they would come to the establishment, they would complete 2 weeks shadowing at the establishment, then they would move on to their prison officer training course, which I think is about 7 weeks. That can either be at the prison training college or different establishments. They would then return to the establishment and do another 2 weeks shadowing. Then they would be a fully fledged, fully trained prison officer.
Within 8 weeks?
Within, I think it's about 12 weeks.
12 weeks, yeah. And then they have a higher grade of pay?
No, that's obviously the figure that I gave is what they get paid from day one.
Day one?
Yeah.
So is there any progression?
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple opportunities. So I started at HMP Leicester as a prison officer originally, then went non-operational, and there's so many different roles in the prison service, in the Ministry of Justice. You know, we're all under one big umbrella, and the kind of opportunities are endless. If there's things that you're interested in, specialisms or different avenues that you want to go off in, there's a multitude of things to look at within the sort of prison service as a whole.
Of course, got another text message here to ask, the prison on Welford Road, is it only a male prison or is it a female as well?
I'll take this one. This is an easy question. I'll take all the easy questions, Kate. It's a male prison.
Oh, okay.
It's a male remand. So when we say it's a male remand prison, what we mean by remand, for people who don't know, is not a convicted prisoner, basically. So if you get arrested for a crime and it's in the Leicestershire area, you end up at HMP Leicester prison most of the times on remand while your case is going through the courts. Once you're convicted, then you get sent on to a more long-term prison.
So the one in Leicester is a remand prison.
Remand prison, yeah.
I see. And then once you're convicted, you could be living in Leicester, but you could be in a prison in Nottingham.
Yeah.
I see. So the women's prison, again, they've sent a text message. Where is the women's prison in Leicester? Do they have one in Leicester, or is it?
No, so there's no, I'm going to just rely on my knowledge here now. So there's no, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? There's no women prison in Leicester. The closest women prison that I can think of from Leicester, I think there's one in Peterborough. HMP Peterborough holds women prisoners. Then we've got HMP Foston Hall,
which is Derbyshire.
Another message has come here, is saying that there's a women's prison in Isle of Man.
Isle of Man, wow, this person's teaching me something I don't know.
That's right, yeah.
Does this person fancy a career in the prison service?
Well, definitely. I think it's sometimes, we learn from each other, don't we? And that's what we're here to do. So we're all in the community, and we all have to work together to come up with some ideas how we can engage with the prison service. So all of you listening in right now, if you have any ideas, bring them to the table and we can look into them. Muhammed here can take them back to his officers, his senior officers, and discuss them. And one of the ideas, we'll go with one idea at a time. Yeah? So there's the issues of clothing in a prison. Is it all set clothing, or do they have their own clothing?
So I'm going to go back to the word remand again. So when you're on remand, you can wear your own clothing. That's correct, right, Kate?
Yep.
Yeah. So a prisoner comes in, they're allowed to wear their own clothing. So their clothing gets checked for security reasons and things like that. But they're allowed access to their own clothing. So whatever you see in general people wearing on the outside of the prison is, as long as it's appropriate, they can wear it inside of the prison. However, we do have some standard prison issue clothing as well, which is usually just like a tracksuit. So it'd be like a grey top, a grey tracksuit, and we also have shoes for prisoners as well who want to wear the prison shoes rather than their own.
Now, I'm going to reflect back in history when we had a gentleman called Michael. He was an ex-prisoner, and when he was in prison, he had a lot of ideas that he implemented. And one of his ideas was that it was more enterprise. So he created a business model where all the washing that the big hotels in London, 5-star hotels, they have sheets to wash. They were all collected and they were washed at one particular prison in that area. And now that was generating income. And it was also teaching the prisoners there enterprise, that if they wish to start a business, how they will go about doing that. So when they come out of prison, they have some business skills. And out of 10, maybe 2 might want to become entrepreneurs. So do you have anything like that happening at Leicester?
So it's a bit difficult at HMP Leicester because it's a remand prison.
Yeah.
The prison
are passing through.
Yeah, so it's not exactly, you made a fantastic point there, Brother Zed. The prison's not designed for the prisoner to remain there on a long-term basis. It's just, they come in there.
They could be there 1 month, they could be there 3 months. They could be there
1 month, they could be there 1 year. With the court system and how things work,
with the delays.
It's very complicated. So when their case is passing through, they stay with us. And when their case is dealt with and they're either convicted or maybe found not guilty, let's be positive here. Yeah. Some people are found not guilty. It's Ramadan, so it's a month of positivity.
Of course
so
it
let's
is,
be positive. Some people get found not guilty and then they're released. But unfortunately, if they are found guilty, then they get sent on to the more long-term prisons. And it's in these prisons where there are some, similar things to what you talk about, where the prison does work with, outside companies and an income's coming in. Obviously, I can't discuss that today because I don't work there in those prisons, but I do have some general knowledge of things that we do.
I see. Now, Kate, the month of Ramadan, it's a blessed month. It's a spiritual month. It's a time for reflection for all of us and to share with somebody who's a non-Muslim the values of Ramadan is absolutely wonderful to do, because that person can ask a question. So you got a question to ask me now about Ramadan, and I'll do my best to answer it.
Wow, I do have my go-to Ramadan
expert,
Muhammed.
Don't call me the expert. You're putting me on the spot here.
Yeah.
But I think this put me on the spot. But there's probably so many questions that I do have, and obviously coming on here, I did. I've logged on and listened to a few shows and kind of listened to what people are talking about, and it just seems that, again, reflecting on the sort of positivity and thinking of other people, and what can we do for other people, and how can we make a difference, and I suppose it's quite a positive, it's positive radio in
working together with each other in the community. Now, whichever community that we are living in, it becomes not my community, but our community. So how we learn from each other, how we support each other. And the only way forward is that we have to work together, live together, eat together, and move forward. So the essence of Ramadan is all about taking our humanity to the next level, to actually bring our commonality on the table and work together, because we are now a global world where people are traveling like they never traveled before. So we have in this country, or even any European country you go to, the East has come here to the West and assimilating into this society, and the only way we can do it successfully is if we all work together as a team and learn from each other.
Yeah.
So myself, have had a history in this city from the 70s, before you were born, Kate, and before Muhammad was born.
Oh, thank you.
So, so we've had a long history here, and coming from early days, in your journey of life, you've seen a lot, and to pass on that knowledge, that expertise, that experience in your journey of life to everyone in the community that you will come across and engage with. So it's an example not only for 1 month, but we all got to make dua, Muhammad, that we continue to be like that the next 11 months.
Inshallah.
And this is what our Maulana Khalil, who comes here to do the 2 p.m. show, always instills into us. So here's a question here. I had a criminal record 20 years ago. Since then, I have been clean. Could I still apply for a job at HMP? Kate, this one's for you.
It is, but I don't think I can answer it. I think I'm not sure whether it would count as a spent conviction with the time, but honestly, I couldn't answer that. Obviously, when people apply, they go through the vetting process, so they would be able to find out very quickly or not whether they could continue with an application or not.
I see. So they will find out on the website where...
Yeah, I mean, Google as well is a great source of information, for people to kind of...
Sheikh Google, we call it here, Uncle Google. And all he is going to have to do is put in there is the same question, really.
Yeah, I think it would depend on the type of conviction as well. There's sort of multiple factors that could kind of come into answering that. So it's not something that I am able to answer here and now, I'm afraid.
Do you know what, though? I'd like to look at it a different way. I'd just like to say, well done to this person.
Yeah.
20 years, changed their life. It's amazing. Obviously, as a prison officer, we see loads of success stories. We see loads of, people coming in and out as well. So it's amazing to hear a positive story where someone has been in trouble in the past and who's managed to, stay away from that sort of life for 20 years. So whoever the person is, well done.
So the role you are playing in the prison is crucial, because you understand the culture, you understand the values, the ethos of a Muslim prisoner, for example. And they could be from, when people say Muslim, and they got to understand that, is he a Muslim from India, is he from Africa, is he from the Middle East, he could be from Afghanistan, and you're now looking at about 50 diversities
Of course,
of Muslims. It could be from Nigeria, could be from anywhere. And just to say he's a Muslim prisoner and you are Muslim and you can deal with them, you may be able to deal with them on the deen, on the religion, but not so much so with their respective culture.
So this is why we're here on the show. You know, we need to attract talent from the local community, who can, you were talking about your experiences and other people's experiences. This is exactly why we're coming on the show, because we need to, attract this local talent that we've got in this city and, bring it to the prison service so they can pass on their experiences and share them with the prisoners.
Of course, there's a message, another one there. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. Good topic on the prison service. I worked at the prison for a few years. One of the best roles I had supporting families of prisoners. Prisons need BAME, representation of staff reflecting the prisoners they help and support. This is from a Muslim sister.
Well, thank you very much. It's like this person's read my mind. Whoever this person is, I want to thank them. Amazing contribution to the show. So thank you very much. But again, I was going to bring this point on anyway. We are good at this, but there's always room for improvement in any career. But I truly believe that the prison service, we do need to reflect the local communities that we serve. And we are. So, just look at me, I'm from the local community. I'm Muslim myself, but we need to bring in more talent from the community. So, this is the reason we're on the show. But yeah, good point. The sister raised a good point.
So it's another message here. If an individual in the community wants to come and support the prison service, what is the procedure in the terms of this particular person is sending a message saying that he's an entrepreneur and if he wants to come and do a session there with maybe some prisoners who want to start a career?
Do you know what, Brother Zed? Kate's sitting there quietly in the corner, so I'm going to pass it on to her.
I think it would be a good idea if people want to send in details and information, if we can take that away with us, we can present that to the relevant people within the establishment.
There you are. So we write a bullet point there that if anyone from the community wants to devote an hour of their time to go to the prison and do some good value addition service. It could be anything that you can offer to go and teach the prisoners or give them a little incentive so that they can learn some skill.
Yeah, and we can take those details away and then present it, and it'd be great if we could make those things happen. Obviously, it's not quite as easy as that, but certainly
but
we can take
how
the information.
to write a book. What are the rules and regulations? How do you do it? Somebody may have a story to write about their career, their life in prison, and they want to learn some writing skills. So any support of any description, so all of you listening in the community, if you can also make contact, if you have any ideas, bring them on the table and let's see what we can do, because we can all benefit and help each other like that. So we mentioned earlier on a plan where if you have prisoners who are from the ethnic community and they like a particular kind of a dish, and a chef could come there and teach your chefs how to cook that. And that's another bullet point, isn't it? So we are actually working now, Muhammad. We are not just talking, we are working. We are actually doing work now. And
it's amazing, it's good.
The clock is ticking. So we come away with some constructive result at the end of this program, where when we come here, we need something hereafter. That what was the benefit of this program for us, for you, and for you, Kate, that we walk away from here with some positivity. Like Muhammad mentioned, it's the month of Ramadan. We need a lot of positive initiatives and how we can help and support each other. So earlier on we were discussing, you already have a chaplain in the prison from each different faith groups.
Yes.
And they are based there, or do they come there on a weekly basis?
We've got some that are based there full-time, some that are part-time. Obviously, there's all the different faiths are sort of represented, or you have access to that representation whilst you're in custody.
All who do a fantastic job, by the way. Give them a shout out.
Yeah.
So we have someone from the church. We have someone from the Sikh community. We have someone from the Muslim community, of all the faiths. So, and they all come in and they do work with the relevant prisoners. Obviously, because it's Ramadan, we're talking about Muslim prisoners. For example, Friday just passed. I did the Friday prayers with the prisoners. I was there with them, and our chaplain, he led the prayers, and I was also there with them. So it's just a really nice thing to see and nice thing to be a part of. So that's just one aspect of their role. So they lead the congregation in prayers.
And some of them will be fasting as well, won't they?
A lot of them are fasting. Do you know one question I'm surprised we've not had yet, Brother Zed? I mean, it's something I always think about. Whenever you're fasting, you always think about your iftar. I'm surprised some of the listeners haven't asked, how do the prisoners break their fast? But do you know what? I'm only going to answer that if someone asks.
Of course, if someone will ask that question, I'll give them a voucher for a £5 gift card voucher from Signature Perfumes.
So come on, who's going to call? Who's going to call with that question?
Yeah, so somebody better call in quickly now on 0116 4822 or you can even send us a text message that will qualify for a voucher as well on 077 488 55055 here on Ramadan.fm. You're listening to Zed on the Community Connections program, and today we are blessed to have in the studio Brother Muhammed Surve and also Kate Malloney. Kate Malloney is looking after HR in the prison, and Brother Muhammed is a prison officer. So he has interaction with the prisoners across the board. Yes? Am I correct?
Yes, I do.
Very good. Now somebody's again they've said, how do you apply for a job in the prison service?
So you can just go onto the internet. If you search prison jobs, that takes you to the Prison and Probation Jobs website. There's loads of really useful information on there about all the different roles, description of them. There's videos, so you can watch things of what it's like to be a prison officer for a day, or what it's like to be an OSG, which is operational support grade. And you can directly apply through that website for those jobs.
So, Muhammad, I want to ask you a question. The degree of community engagement with the prison service, with the prisoners, how much of a benefit will that be?
Complicated question. I think...
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, complicated question. Kate, your turn.
No, I think it's what we need to do as a prison service is go out and talk about what it's like in prison. Prison itself, you've touched on it a lot, about community. Prison is a community within a community. HMP Leicester is a community of prisoners and staff, and all of those people contribute to looking after prisoners. So it's, a community within a community. So we're separate, but we're not. We're in this community, and we need everybody that's in this local community. If people want to come and apply to work there, all those different people that have had different experiences all can make an impact towards people in custody. And you might not see that immediately. When I served as a prison officer, there's you'll see a lot of people in custody, especially at Leicester, because it's a remand prison, they'll move on. But you might have made an impact on that person that they might feel 5 years down the line when they're at a training prison. So sometimes you don't see the impact that you've had on those people, but you there's enough. I think you come away every day feeling fulfilled that you've had
agree with you, definitely.
an impact on these people's lives.
So we say each year that every one of us can make a difference to another. Every one of us can do that, right? In some shape, form or manner. So, Muhammad, there is a question. How do prisoners open their fast?
Oh, congratulations. Did this person win the voucher then?
Yeah, they've won the voucher, so I'm going to leave this voucher here with our producer there. One voucher for that question. I wonder if it's the producer themselves who've done that question.
We're going halves on this voucher. We're going halves. 250 each.
So one voucher there for £5. So, go on.
So,
fire away.
Do you know what? The prisoners, what they do is, in Ramadan, it's amazing. We give them this, beautiful opportunity where they're allowed to work in a group of them. They're allowed to work in the kitchen, and they actually can cook the foods that they want. So, we spoke about, all your listeners will know about akni. Okay, akni is a delicacy, it's a dish. It's a rice dish, isn't it? A lamb with lamb in there.
It's like a biryani. Have you ever heard of biryani?
Yes.
Oh, Kate knows
of course.
what biryani is.
It's not a good example I've used because I've got some ardent akni lovers. When you mention biryani to them, they get very upset and uptight, And akni, it's a dish with the tomatoes and various different spices, and then you can have it chicken or you can have it with lamb. So who cooked that for you?
So at home?
No, in the prison.
This is the point where I give my wife a shout out, Brother Zed. If she doesn't get that, she'll tell me off. She cooks brilliant akni, by the way.
For the prison. We're talking about the fast of the prison.
The prison. So
I think your iftar is now getting to you, and you're starting to think about your wife and what you're going to eat at home.
Listen, if I don't give her a shout out, then who's going to make my iftar?
Okay. I look forward to an invite there, Kate, to his house for a
inshallah,
for a akni.
Inshallah. So what we do is the prisoners they get employed to work in the kitchen, and they get to cook food of their choice. So, we have prisoners from Indian, Pakistani sort of background, similar to myself. So they cook food what they like. So they'll cook curries. I know they cook keema dishes. They cook some veg dishes. So what they'll do is they'll cook that during the day, and then it'll get packed up in a box. So it's like a container that stays warm, and it'll get served up about 4 to 5 p.m. It'll get put in that box, and then what the prisoners do, it's not like America. They don't sit and eat together. They come through the servery, they give their name at the front, and then they collect this box, and they take this box back to their room about 5 o'clock, and it stays warm, so the food's nice and warm for them. And then iftar is about
8 o'clock, 10 past 8,
yeah.
10, 12 today.
So it's about, what's the time now? It's 4:30.
Now it's almost 5 p.m.
So whilst we're talking, there'll be prisoners right now going. That's right, Kate. Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be prisoners going right now through the servery, collecting these boxes. They'll take them back into their room, and they'll open them, inshallah, about 8 o'clock, and the food will be nice and warm for them, and they'll break fast.
No, Muhammad, that is too early. If fast is at 10 past 8 and you're sending the food there at 5 p.m., make a note of that, Kate. We need to fix that problem.
No, but the food stays warm and fresh.
They've got these lovely boxes. It's almost like, I suppose, a thermos.
Yeah, it's a thermos. So it's got like a clay plate in there that goes in the oven. So I need to say this now because the viewers you made all the listeners worry.
Listeners, yeah, we're on viewers, radio, not on TV.
Do you know why? Because I can see my colleague on camera here. I'm happy I'm not on camera. That's why I keep saying viewers. But so we have this plate. It goes in the oven, and then that plate goes underneath the box. So that box stays warm for hours. And I promise it does stay warm because
when they do their iftar, they do that in the room.
They do that in the room,
or do they other prisoners they join each other and
no? So unfortunately, they do it in their room. However, a lot of prisoners share with other prisoners, and you find that because they're friends, because they've got things in common, you do find that.
Then after they break their fast, what do they do about Maghrib prayer, and then also do they do Tarawih?
There's no congregational prayers after they secured in their cell, but they're encouraged, and of course they can pray in their cell. They get provided with prayer mats, they get Qurans, they get everything is facilitated for the prisoners so that they can observe their religion. And that's not just the Muslim prisoners, that's prisoners of all faith. So whenever you come to prison, your religion is facilitated for you. You can practice your religion.
I see. So they will pray in the room basically then, won't they? The Maghrib Salah.
Yeah, so they'll break their fast and they'll pray their namaz in their room.
I see. Now, do they have provided to them janmaz, anything?
Yes, they got. So this is where the chaplaincy team comes in. They do a fantastic job. Each prisoner will have a prayer mat, a janamaz, as you said. They'll have Qurans in their cells, various books, tasbeehs, topis, most things that they need to observe their prayer. They will be given it. But everything you mentioned, they do get those things.
So the sister is sent a message. It's incredible seeing the iftar being served to Muslim prisoners. The same Muslim sister previously who asked the question, right? She's interactive. Thank you very much. So we need to also discuss, put a bullet point there that you will go back and say that if a chef will come there, do some training. This training will help some of them. Maybe they want to pursue a career in catering.
It's in principle, it's a great idea. Maybe we can bring the chef in Ramadan, help them cook some nice dishes for the brothers to break the iftar with. Again, in principle, great idea, but we'll write it down, take it back, speak to our bosses about it, and see what.
Because
what we can
just cooking a dish in those circumstances can be very therapeutic for them.
Yeah. I mean, there is somebody that is employed in the kitchen that does do sort of some kind of catering, teaching.
Yeah.
But I think we're more than happy to, and that's another thing, to come and engage with the local communities to get these ideas and then take these things back.
You took a note of that one, and then we'll do another one called nutrition. Somebody sent a message here saying nutrition, and that would be also well-being and nutrition. Carry on with that list, is growing.
Yeah.
We got nutrition, we got well-being.
I'm just glad Clate's making the notes. I've got the easy job.
Yeah. So these are ideas, we can take them back and develop upon them. And so somebody sent a message, but it's not complete. So I'll wait for it to be complete, and then I will read it out. It says here, being a Muslim, if I joined, would I be able to practice my faith, make daily prayers? Also, I hear stories about discrimination, which puts me off. Has this changed over the years? Of course. Kate, would you like to have a go at that?
Specifically with the prayers, I know we have had other Muslim staff that have been employed who have facilitated, those sort of requests and requirements that they're needed. That's not a problem.
I'm a bit jealous, really. I wanted to answer this question.
Oh, you go.
I think I'm best person to answer it.
Have a go.
Obviously, I've been a prison officer now, nearly 9 years, and I pray all my namazes at work. Like I said, before this person even asked the question.
So you will be praying Zohar and then Asr.
Yeah, pray Zohar, Asr.
Yeah. And sometimes, depending on what time of the year is, you'll be praying Maghrib as well there.
Yeah, and I already mentioned about the Jummah prayer on Friday, which I mentioned. I was there with the prisoners, so you do get to pray. Obviously, it's an environment where sometimes it can be a bit unpredictable. So there are situations where emergency might happen, and that might be your prayer time. So it might not be the best time to pray at that time, but as long as it's safe and
you can catch up.
Pray,
yeah. So they allow a little bit of flexibility on that matter.
Yeah, and I'm the perfect example. I'm telling you that I do observe my religion in the prison.
So, brothers and sisters, you are listening to Zed on the Community Connections program, and you can see that faith is great in the prison service. They have accommodated not only the Muslim faith but other faiths as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is quite challenging because you're meeting all the requirements of different ethnicities in the prison, that in itself is a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, but that allows us, all those different people from all those walks of lives with all that different experience allows that to be passed on to the people that need it, which is the prisoners. They need they need representation. What faith, religion, culture they are. They need to see that with the people that are working with them in the prison.
Somebody sent a message in, because throughout the month we have been speaking about awareness and engagement. How do we become aware about all aspects in our community? For example, in the prison, we talked earlier about Muslims and all the different types from different parts of the world, how we can teach the prison service about these all different ethnicities, all different creeds, all different castes, so that they are better equipped to deal with any particular problem, Muhammad, that comes to them. So once they understand that this person is from this denomination, this is his belief, when you're aware, you can deal with it better. If you're not aware, you will not deal with it in a correct manner.
I think our staff, they're from all different backgrounds, and they all do a fantastic job dealing with, the prisoners and the different situations that arise. But of course, the more people we attract from the local community and people from, who have different experiences, who have different life, not just from a cultural experience, but from a people who've got different life experiences, they will be able to, bring something else to the team. But the staff that we've got, they do a great job, understanding, learning as they go. And they just do a brilliant job with the prisoners.
So there's a learning curve for everybody, isn't it, in this environment?
Yeah,
because you have no guarantee of what prisoner is coming through the door tomorrow. And to learn about all these different people, that in itself is an education, isn't it, Kate?
Yeah, it's, I just think about all the people that I've sort of experienced during my career. We have foreign national prisoners who speak a multitude of different languages, who don't speak any English, and we now, I'd probably say, have quite a few officers that speak different languages, and these are such great sort of qualities that people can bring to the role to help, the whole sort of prison establishment.
So someone like Muhammad, I can look at Muhammad, and because of my experience, I can see Muhammad can speak English.
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me this.
Yes. He can speak Hindi.
You might be disappointed, Brother Zed.
Gujarati.
I can speak a bit of broken Hindi.
Yeah.
And I can understand Gujarati, but I can't speak it.
You can speak Urdu.
I can speak Urdu.
Urdu, you can speak.
I can speak
Urdu and Hindi are very close.
Very similar.
Yeah.
But again, this is what I'm saying. Keep going on about the same thing. But if we get, people to join the service.
You can speak Malloney.
I can't speak Malloney.
There you are.
But their food's good.
Yeah.
Their food's good.
So, Kate, you see here, you have Muhammad. He's an Asian, and he's speaking 2.5 languages plus English. And if a prisoner comes from the Gujarati community, Muhammad will be able to communicate with them because he speaks some element of Gujarati.
I do every day.
Yeah. So Gujarati is your home language. What do you speak at home?
No, so I'm actually from a Cockney background.
Yeah.
So unfortunately I can't speak it anymore. But again, I understand it. But I understand Gujarati. I think my main language, I would say, is Urdu and Hindi.
Okay, now Kate, now Muhammad's dropped me in it here when he said he's from the Cockney background. And there isn't many of people from the Cockney background living in Leicester.
Okay.
There's probably, they don't even go past 500. Would that be right?
You will be right.
Yeah, so about 500. So, Muhammad, your homework is to tell Kate about the Cockneys, where they emanated from.
She thinks we're talking about Cockneys now. She's thinking London.
Yeah.
To be fair, I asked Mo a lot of questions You know, and there's lots of different staff that have got so much experience, you know, that I go to all the time and ask different things.
And what do I say, Kate? There's never a silly question.
No, and I'm not afraid to ask a silly question, so that's...
Here's a message. My husband was there on remand for his mental health. Everyone there really made a difference. Now that is what I like to hear. That
Wow,
we all work together, we can make a difference.
Message. Thank
right?
you.
So, Kate, I'll put my hand up and I'll volunteer to come there to the prison, and you give me some tasks to do. Languages, I'm good on them.
Yeah.
I can come there and we can do Q&A. You can ask me a question and I'll give you the answer.
Hope you're writing this down, Kate.
Well, I was just sat here thinking about prison radio, you know. That's something that...
Now we're moving, we're working, we're working. That would be a good idea as well. We can help implement that, put that down on the list. How we set that up, and then, you know, try to create as many different professions so that a prisoner, when they come out, they said, look, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they get back into work. So what do they do for Seri? This is the last question now because we're coming to the end.
Do you know what? What a brilliant question to end the show with. So, Sehri, when the prisoners go and collect their evening meal with their box, they'll get given a separate bag. And in that bag, there'll be some items that they can use for their Sehri. Lots of items in there. I'm just trying to think on the top of my list. Loads of breakfast things, so cereal, they get a carton of milk. They normally get a couple of sandwiches in there as well that they can have in the morning. Dates, so it's things like that and fruit, so it's things they can use for Sehri time. The challenge is for them not to eat it.
Of course, so it is throughout the year, the members of the community can prepare some packs. So if we create like a pack, Muhammed, you can work with us on that, what kind of pack we prepare in terms of the box, and we put a good message on it, and inside members of the public can donate that, and we can pack it in that particular box with a good greeting on it, and we can send it over periodically. Would that be a good idea?
In principle, lovely idea. Obviously, we'd have to talk off air about, you know, certain security aspects regarding that.
Yeah,
but in principle, you know, alhamdulillah, fantastic idea.
So we are now coming to the end. Kate, I'd like to thank you both for coming here on the program today. So, Kate, if you'd like to give a message.
Well, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. I'd encourage anybody that is interested in what happens in prison or is thinking about applying for employment in the prison is to just search prison jobs and have a look at the videos, have a look at the information. And
great. My brothers and sisters, from all of us here, Muhammed,